We're going to be taking a look at pure virtual functions and abstract classes using the program we designed last video. Now we saw we had the terrorist class, which was the derived class, and it was receiving inherited information from the enemy class, which was the base class. You could also think of the enemy class as the mother class and the terrorist class as the daughter class. Now in that video we saw virtual functions, and that showed us what would happen in the event that we had the same function inside of a base class and its derived class. So in this case, we had the attack function inside of the enemy class, and inside of the terrorist class, we also had an attack function with the exact same spelling. Both of them would execute different lines of code. One of them would say you're being attacked by a terrorist, and the other one would just say you're being attacked by an enemy. Now, we saw that in the event that you went into your header file of the base class and included the word virtual before the data type where you prototyped your attack function inside the base class, remember this is the enemy class, this would give it permission to override the attack function in the event that one of your inheriting classes, one of your derived classes, would have an attack function as well. You will take the one from the derived class, in this case the terrorist class, instead of the one over here. And this means that if we were to build and run this, we see down here we're going to get you were attacked by a terrorist. However, if you were to remove this, and simply just write void attack and remove the virtual, we're not going to be able to override it, and instead you'll be taking it from your base class, you were attacked by an enemy. So we saw that last video, and the point of this was that in the event that, if you put virtual there, in the event that you had a ton of different enemies, say you had 1,000 enemies made, and you forgot to give specific attacks for some of those enemies, you would allow them to have this general attack, which would be from the enemy class, which is fine. Now, what would happen if we really wanted to make a detailed game and we wanted to make sure that every single enemy we designed had a unique attack and that a program would not run if that was not the case? This is with a pure virtual function, which means you need to still write that you have an attack function inside of your base class, but there's no way that you're going to run anything from that. So this means you're going to have absolutely nothing in it, so we can go ahead and remove the body of it. You're not even going to have to write anything for it in the CPP. It's not necessary. And we'll go into our header file over here. We're still going to write virtual void attack because you have to still keep the data type of the other ones that you're going to have. We know it's going to be attack functions. You'll keep all that. We're just going to go ahead and write 0. We're going to equal this to 0, assign 0 to it, and this will mean that your program will not be able to run if all of your inheriting classes to this one over here do not have an attack function, a void attack function. If they don't have it, you'll not run. Now, if I were to go ahead and run this right now, we'll see that it's just going to work, and it's going to say you were attacked by a terrorist because we know that our terrorist over here has a attack function of its own. But what if I were to go ahead and remove this? What if I just go ahead and remove this? Are we going to be able to run now? We have a pure virtual function, and now we don't have one of our inheriting classes doesn't have anything. So if I were to go ahead and run this, what's going to happen? The build has now failed. So we cannot run this if we do not have a attack function, a void attack function in every single inheriting class. In this case, we just have the terrorist class, but say we were to add another class like the alien class we had 2 videos back. One of them were to have an attack function, the other one would not have anything. You will not be able to run. This means you need every single inheriting class to have that function, or else you won't run. Then you might be wondering, okay, that's the pure virtual function. Now what happens with the abstract classes that you mentioned before? Well, a class that has a pure virtual function in it is an abstract class. Simple enough. That's it. So if you have any questions regarding either of these things, pure virtual functions or abstract classes, or virtual functions and inheritance in general, feel free to leave it in the comments below, and I will respond to you as soon as possible with an answer. If I know the answer, I'll tell you. If I don't, I will find it for you. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the videos in this series.